Hello everyone,
Hi.
here's another edition of Book Scoop. We will briefly talk about two books. I will talk about an adult fiction book,
And I have a middle grade fiction book.
but first we'll tell about a few things that will be going on in the library in the coming weeks. PBS, WSKG, will be in the library on June 27th with a program that's called Adventure Awaits. It will be a hands-on thing with the person who comes here will show one episode, and then there is a sensory item, there's a craft, she has coloring plates. So, just join us and have a good time for about an hour.
Yeah, and no need to register, just show up for that one.
Just show up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The summer reading program is live. We're registering people. We're up to 140 people. We want to get over 200 this year. We're keeping track of how many pages we read because we want to get over 280,000 pages, and then we're going to have an obstacle course contest against the village police department at our summer reading celebration, which is on August 2nd. So if you haven't signed up for summer reading yet, please do. You can find it in the library, or you can go to our website and there's a link there. And it's for everyone. It's for adults and for children and for teens and for toddlers, everyone.
And as I always say, the numbers are good for the library. So even if you sign up and report only once, that already helps us in reporting back to the States.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
please do it.
Yeah.
I did.
And I did too. Also, we wanted to let you know that Lunchtime Tales is back again. This year it's going to be on Wednesdays at noon. So the Home and Rec department is going to have their crafts in the building behind the fire department. And so the Lunchtime Tales will be there right immediately following that. So bring your picnic lunch with you, and Ashley's going to be ready for stories and songs and activities and
a take-home craft.
a take-home craft. Yeah, so that'll be a lot of fun. All right, go ahead.
My book. The Truth of the Aliki, written by Moses Osi Utomi. This is a fantasy book about Osi, who lives in, and I took some notes because I could not remember it, who lives, he's a teenager and he grows up in the city of Truth. Very close to a huge desert. He wants to be a truth seeker. Those are the heroes of the city. And they fight fiercely against the Aliki. The Aliki is bad. He destroys the city of Truth. And he's strong and very ingenious in ways to get to the city. But when he is a truth seeker, he goes to the city where the Aliki lives, and he is betrayed by the other truth seekers and left there to die, which he doesn't, because someone in the other city, the city of the Aliki, Obasa, nurtures him back to health. And then he stays there because Osi doesn't feel safe anymore to go back to his own city. And he finds out that they're very poor in the city of the Aliki. He also finds out that Obasa actually is the Aliki. So that's a big change in his worldview. At some point, the Aliki wants to get revenge in the city of Truth, and he asks Osi to help him. And then Osi says, I will not help you win this war, but I will help you bring peace. And you have to read the book to find out how he does that. And also about a very unexpected turn at the end of the book that I did not see coming at all. It is not a very big book, but it's not a book that you read easily. It's sort of philosophical. It talks about the effects of not knowing another party and what that does with one's perception of the other party.
Sure. Yeah.
There's one thing that was in there, I thought it was just magnificent. It's sort of a theme. Do not fear that you may do wrong. Fear that you may not do right. And I just think it's wonderful. And there's more of these things in this book. So, I read it like a page of 15 at a time and let it sink in.
Let it sink in. Yeah.
So, The Truth of the Aliki in the library.
All right. And I read Warrior on the Mound. It's by Sandra Heaton. And also, not a big book, but I would not say this book is for like 3rd, 4th graders. It's definitely a little bit older, middle grade. I picked it up because we don't have a lot of books about sports in the library, and I thought, oh, I want to read this one. So it's set in 1939, so it's about Cato and his family. Cato and his sister live with their grandparents. His dad died, and we don't really know all the details around that. They're a black family. And sports, of course, at this time is separate. So the Little League, kind of like Little League fields, they have a field for the black kids and they have a field for the white kids. And of course, the field for the white kids just got refurbished and is very fancy. There's something in here called red shirts, which I had never heard of before. And 1939 is not the time when they were around. It was the late 1800s, and it was very Ku Klux Klan-ish, but they all wore red shirts. And
that was a real thing.
Yeah, because I looked it up. I'd never heard of it before. In the Carolinas, I can't remember which one, but it was a real thing. And so that makes an appearance in this book. There's a school that is burned down. There's some violence towards the black kids. So it's not a light read. There's a lot going on in this book. But you get some baseball, you get some history. It's based on some true things. It's not actual true story, of course. So it's a really good book if you want to learn some history and have, get an idea of what it was like in the 1930s to be playing baseball. Satchel Paige makes an appearance in the book. And so she talks a little bit at the end, the author does, about the different names in here, and all of the names of the boys on the baseball team were named after real baseball players in the Negro League.
I love it when authors do
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So, you get to learn a bit of baseball history, a bit of American history, and it's a great story too. I did need my tissues at one point, so that's the kind of book it is. So, Warrior on the Mound by Sandra Heaton. Yeah.
All right. See you next time.
Bye.